Well, now, this is exactly what I would suggest you to do if you have one source of income. Okay, fine. Why is it a big deal? I know you'd be like, okay, fine. Why is it a big deal if you have one source of income? This is it. Do you know what they say? An average millionaire, they usually have a minimum of 7 streams of income. 7 streams of income. And I want you to ask a very simple question. Have you ever seen a wealthy or rich individual who has one source of income? Thank you for answering that question. Now, the point is this: you are not safe. You have never been. Having one single source of income, it's never secured and safe. It's like, see, in Africa, we have this understanding like, hey, you're not supposed to give birth to one kid, just have multiple just in case of anything. It's called spreading the risk out there. So even in life, when it comes to finances, you're supposed to spread the risk. Do you know what? Even the Bible calls you a fool if you put all your eggs in one basket. And that's why you'll ever hear me talking about when you are investing, do not put all your money in one or a single investment. Can you imagine this? You have been, maybe say you are outside the country, you try the best as you can, you get some cash and get out of it and put it, let's say, in stocks. You're not supposed to do that. Have something called the portfolio of investment. What does it mean? Some of the people, I saw some comment people asking me, Joseph, what is a portfolio of investment? Portfolio of investment, it's like this. For example, this is a pot, okay? And in this pot, let's say we are cooking something. And this pot, maybe it's made up of something, maybe salt is inside there. We have some water inside there. We have some, let's say, grains inside that place. Then we have some, let's say, spices. You get what I'm saying? All these things in combination, there's a combination of various things. But in collection, you just want to achieve, maybe say, like chicken something or something of salt. All right? You get what I'm saying? So in this pot, you have to put all those ingredients. So the same case, so portfolio is you having that one big pot that is composed of different things that achieve different things. For example, you may have somebody who is into circles because they want to get a loan in future. You may have somebody in the same pot, you have something like, let's say, an MMF. Let's say you want to have liquidity because MMF gives you liquidity. What is a liquidity? Liquidity is having that cash money that you can be able to withdraw anytime you want. You can use an MMF to save for your emergency fund. You can use an MMF to retain your purchasing power just in case you want to wait that for a certain period of time for you to invest on something. The same person may have an investment, let's say, in something like T-bills and T-bonds. So then it means that individual, the T-bills and T-bonds, you can fix this money in a certain period of time. Well, it depends on the bills or bonds that you actually pick out there. You can invest the same money, maybe say in a business, okay? In a business, whereby, let's say, individual, you want to occupy yourself, you want to be busy yourself. See, the point here is to having a portfolio of investment. And on this video, we're going to talk about, if you have one source of income, how do you create another one and another one? And when do you actually choose to create another one? All right? Those are the questions. So number one, if you have one source of income, how do you create another one? And then in the process of creating another one, when exactly is the best time now to create a second, a third, and fifth, and all those kind of things. All right? Stick with me. And by the way, as we talk about this, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. It does not cost you anything. It's free of charge. And once you do that, you get to be notified whenever I upload a new good video. All right? It's a fair deal. I dare promise you, you hit that subscription button, and I dare promise you, by God's grace, I'll be here making a video for each and every day. Now, here you are, you have one source of income, okay? You have one source of income. And maybe let's say that source of income is making you, well, if you've been watching me for quite a long time, oh, and by the way, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. We say that we're going to be using an average salary of 40,000, okay? Let's go to our average salary of 40,000, okay? 40,000. Again, this is in Kenyan shillings. Doesn't matter whatever the currency I'm using, you just get the concept. So if you have one source of income, let's say you're making 40 G's at the end of the month. Out of this 40 G's at the end of the month, let's say you survive on something called the recurrent expenditure. That's the water bills, electricity, what have you. Let's say at the end of the day, maybe you survive on something like 30K, all right? So 30K out of this 40K, you're able to salvage 10,000, all right? So this is the salvageable amount. See, now this salvageable amount is the only one that can help you to create another source of income. But now the issue is this: you cannot just create any source of income. The factors to consider when you're creating another source of income are like, A, you need to understand your availability. Your availability in terms of time. There are people who are employed from 9 to 5. Number two, you have to understand, am I getting to something that I understand, or maybe have an experience about? Number three, how much am I aiming to get? How much? am I comfortable with? And of course, how much does not only rely on what you want, but also relies on the capital that you have at hand for you to invest. For example, let's say your second source of income, you want to get something that will be giving you an extra, say, 5,000, or maybe say 10,000 or 100,000. Obviously, if you want to go the investment way, you have to pump in more money to get more money. That is it. That's the principle of investment. Okay. But okay, now we go to the third one or the fourth one. The fourth one here, the factor to consider is fine. You're gonna employ somebody, the location, if you want to talk about businesses and all those kind of things. Okay. Now here you are. If you want to create, now we go to the something called the process of creating another source of income. Creating another source of income. So how do you creating another source of income? How do you create that source? See, the way you create that source of income is first of all define how much do I need? How much do I need to create that source of income? And the how much again, the period, see how much will also define the time. And also having something like, let's say, I'm using the example 40,000, you're setting aside 10,000 each and every day. So if, or rather each and every month. So that 10,000, let's say here, the how much you need to create another source of income. Let's say maybe you've been looking forward into having a business. Maybe you want to have a cosmetic business. Maybe you want a spa business. Maybe you want to have something like a fashion. Maybe you want to have something like just a small business out there, groceries, whatever, that kind of a business, okay, or stationery. See, the point is this: you've realized that I need a minimum of 150,000 for me to realize this business. So the budget here is 150,000. So if you need 150,000, and remember you're setting aside 10,000. So what does it mean? You need like, say if it's about 1 year, you got yourself like 120,000. So you have to add another year, three months. So you need like 1 year, 3 months. Give it an average of 1 year and 5 months is the period that you need for you to realize this amount of money. And then when you have this amount of money, which vehicle do you want to use when you're creating the second source of income? Do you want to go the business way or do you want to go the investment way? Again, the reason why you pick one not the other, it is because of your availability. Or can I actually pick the two of them at the same time? Why? We may have somebody who has the 150,000 and that individual decides the 100K, I'm going to go ahead and set up something like cosmetics somewhere and employ somebody, okay? When I employ that somebody, I'm aiming at getting at least, see, when you invest 100K, you're supposed to get around 1,000 bob, maybe say a day or a couple of hundreds. Maybe when you employ yourself or when you're actually working from your own business, you can realize the 1,000 bob per day. But again, maybe you've invested this amount of money and you're getting yourself something like 700. Let's say maybe say business gives you the 1,000 bob a day. You employ somebody to pay them 300 a day, and then you get the 700 with you. So the 700 with you pays the recurrent expenditure, pays the bills and what have you, and maybe say out of this amount of money, you're remaining at around 400. You see, 400 per day at the end of the month, you have yourself like 12,000 out of the 100,000 that you invested. And then the 50,000 that was left out there, you can put this into an investment. You can put this money into something like an MMF, okay? You put it into an MMF. Yeah, here, it won't make you like a crazy amount like this one, but the fact remains at least you've spread your risk. Again, guess what happens? You have the primary source of income is if you're employed somewhere where you're earning this amount of money. Remember, you're still saving your 10,000 each and every month. Now you've created another source of income. You have employed somebody. Sometimes I usually say, hey, you can employ somebody and maybe get the profit that you get out of the business maybe in half or something. See, now you're getting, let's say, an extra of 400 out of the business that you started with 100 G's. Now the 400, multiply that by 12 or rather by 30, you have yourself 12,000 at the end of the month. Guess now what happens? You have the 10,000 that you're saving from your invest or rather from your employment. You have an extra 12,000 that you're getting out of the business that you're having. Well, fine, I understand. You may not realize this for the first month or maybe sometimes second or even sometimes that. But after sometimes you can actually go out there and be able to get the amount of money. One thing that I should let you know is this: when you start the business, do not over expect from the business, do not overstretch over the business, give it a breathability allowance for the business to actually do something, for you to get something out of it. It's like when you give birth, you don't over expect things from the kids, okay? You nurse the kids, you take care of the kids, and then after some time, you're going to get something at the end of the day. Now, the other cash that you have it on MMF, guess what happens? Now you're going to have another extra source of income. Now you've created 3 sources of income: the MMF way, the business way, and that's what you have from that primary investment or that primary source of income, which is your employment. And that way, you're going to salvage yourself as far as life is concerned. This issue of having you a single source of income, guess what happens? What if you get fired? What if there was a retrenchment? What if something like COVID-19 happens again? You know, and the COVID-19 or coronavirus, as it is commonly known, actually some of the people got retrenchment, some people got fired, some of the businesses actually failed. And that's why I cannot advise you, when you get all your cash, you just pump it into the business. And it's so much boring. And when I say a single source of income, does not only apply to those people who are employed, also it applies to people who operate businesses at an individual level. They're making good things, they're making some good cash, but you have not spread your risk. You've not actually invested in different areas. Go ahead and look for areas whereby you can actually spread your tentacles. Maybe let's say you have a good cash flow. Okay, you have a good cash flow, you have a good business, is giving you liquid. Now that's the time to think about, say, something like real estate, something like stable, something like parcels of lands, which you can value add later and therefore create another source of income. It may be a slower way of getting money, but actually what we say, it is a little bit less risky compared to what you're doing right now. It is true. I have seen people coming all the way from up there and actually degrading themselves in terms of them, what they're earning, and then you disappear in terms of the finances. So if you have one source of income, I will leave you with this message. Worry a lot. Ask yourself, what exactly can I do? And do not complicate the process of starting another source of income. See, when you complicate the issues, just to be real to yourself, just incorporate things that you know that are workable, and then again have realistic goals, and that way you can be able to go ahead and achieve that goal, that ultimate power in terms of what we call the another second source of income. See, now the question is this, the big question: when do I now create another source of income? When you create another source of income is when the previous source of income that you created, it's actually stable by itself. It has a predictable source of income. So when it falls to a place whereby it has a predictable source of income, therefore you can contemplate of now getting more money, or maybe say saving. It's either you can think about expanding that business or creating another source of income. The problem of multiplying faster and having different franchises, for example, say maybe you're selling some, let's say, spare parts, and then you actually expand rapidly compared to the capacity of these businesses. You might have yourself like 3 or 4 branches, but only 2 are actually the ones that are surviving the other branches. So what you do is that you diversify. You can diversify completely different from what you do, so that at least you do not put all your business in one lineage of industry. I repeat, for example, say you are selling like spare parts. You can sell the automobile spare parts, you can sell the motorbike spare parts and what have you, but you're still on the same business, line of the business. What if something happens in that line of business? It's always good to detach yourself wholly from that lineage and then get yourself from a new one. But again, that is guided by what we call, by the stability of the existing business, or so that at least you can be able to know, hey, at this time is the best time to actually start another business. And the worst thing that I usually say is when you start a business and then that business that you've started relies on the previous business for everything, and there are no chances of it standing by itself, that's actually a red flag. And I actually call it a toxic business, just like we have a toxic relationship. All right. So anyway, that guys, thank you for watching this video to the end. And guess what? You can always have a conversation with me. Pick that number from the description of this specific video. Shoot me a call. Let's have a conversation. Guess what? When we stop talking, guess what happens? We start fighting. Go ahead, pick that number and go call me. You can as well send me a text or an email. My email is actually out there. Let's have a conversation for just a cup of coffee's price. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.